fun begins.
Hello, welcome to the council. We begin tonight's meeting of the council by calling the council to order. Hello to everyone and thank you for joining us. The council is a live Twitch talk show and podcast discussing Star Wars The Old Republic. I'm Elise, and with me are my fellow council members, Magic Ace.
Hello, and Magic Baby. You'll hear her in the background.
Sakari.
Hello, everybody. Good to have you here.
And I was giving Renda some time, so Renda.
Hello, everybody.
Redna has ears again this week. And apparently no body. But hey, that's always Redna, right?
So this week is our 1-year anniversary of the council. Yay! Otherwise known as our 50th episode. And tonight will be an Ask Me Anything, or otherwise known as an AMA episode. So please, as you're joining the chat or the show, get a question together to ask us. We are
or else our show is going to suck.
waiting.
We're going to be terrible, and it's all on you. We got to put the pressure on.
We're putting the pressure on you lurkers. But don't worry, because after the live broadcast, you can find our recorded episodes everywhere podcasts are found. So if you didn't get to send us a message because you are watching this recorded or listening to it later, you can send us one, and we can always answer you anyways, because we have email. Speaking of email, you can find us on that email. And you can find us on facebook.com/CouncilSloTour. You can leave us questions there. You can also find us on Twitter, which is @thecouncilslotour.com. We also have our beautiful website, which is www.thecouncilslotour.com. And don't forget our Patreon, which is patreon.com/CouncilSloTour. Ta-da!
Ta-da, indeed.
Excellent.
Yes, welcome everybody. Our Ask Me Anything /AMA episode. We are going to forego doing the regular community poll segment tonight, because how do you fit that into this? But that does not mean that we are not going to be doing the icebreaker. So the icebreaker is just a question that gets some chat going, kind of generally, just a little bit something to stoke the fire. One thing that we are going to touch on very light this week, not at all, in fact, but except during this question, is 5.9.2, which comes out tomorrow. So it comes out tomorrow. Any of you council members intending on jumping on just to check it out? If so, what are you going to be engaging in? You're going to do the PvP? You're going to play with the stronghold, or what? So let's start with Redna. You intending on getting in 5.9.2? Not at all.
Uh-oh.
I'm seeing his mouth is moving, but I'm not.
Tuesdays are
go.
date night, so I will not be online. I will not be doing anything to do with SloTour on Tuesday.
Well, that's nice.
Okay, but what about
Date
the
night
rest?
is always nice.
The rest of the week, though.
Well, that's not what the question was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I interpreted it exactly the same way as Redna. So.
Oh, because I
my
mentioned the
answer
word
is going to be no to you.
tomorrow. Okay,
Tomorrow.
fair enough. You a literalist. That's how you want to do it. Elise, what exactly are you doing exactly tomorrow and no other day?
What am I doing tomorrow and not another
Instead
day?
of playing SWOTOR, apparently.
I'm not sure, but Tuesdays are iffy unless I have small group, which was last week.
Right.
So I don't know if I'm going to jump in tomorrow. It's probably going to be later on the week or this weekend. I do want to see the new PvP changes.
Okay.
Right. This is the cross faction dealy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's free for all now.
Everything's cross-faction and the
So-
Rishi stronghold. And correct me if I'm wrong, I heard a rumor, I don't know if it comes with this patch or if it's later, but that they're consolidating all of those stupid cartel market reputations into a
Yes.
single one.
Yes.
That is this
I
patch.
just found out about this like 2 days ago, and like, holy crap, that's maybe the thing I'm the most excited about, because from that stupid, slot machine that you could put in a stronghold, I have a single cartel market reputation even started, and it's maxed because I was able to get all of the tokens off of that when it was dropping more than it should. So I will actually be able to get the consolidated one
Working
at the
as
max,
intended.
Wow.
and I've got certificates in my freaking stronghold that I've never used, so I might actually be able to buy some stuff. I'm kind of excited by that.
Mm.
I miss out on all that. That bums me out. I have like 3 of those like certificates you used to be able to get in the old cartel packs. The right?
Yeah,
Those
that's
go
what
to
this
like
is.
some of the
But-
BBA or whatever like that. I have like 4 of those, and that's it.
Right.
So,
Well,
that
and
goes along with
however
the.
much you got from each one, they'll combine all of them into this new single reputation. And so if it adds up to the max level, you will instantly be placed at the max level. And then they're going to be introducing some new way to get these certificates, I guess. So you'll actually be able to use the vendors in the future to make
Okay.
those purchases. So that's kind of neat.
Yes, absolutely. Magic, are you going to be experiencing any of this new 5.9.2 content?
Heck yes. I have been saving up the credits, and I think I'm going to unlock it with cartel coins, just so that if I transfer anywhere else, I'll
Right.
be able to reclaim it. So I will be buying it with cartel coins, the initial room, and then I'll be unlocking everything else with credits. I have 11 million, but I think I'm going to do some dailies tonight after my NIM raid and get some more, because I'd like to get it to 13 million before it drops. That's kind of my goal right now,
Right.
just because I spent like 13 million, I think, on Yavin 4. Magic Baby wasn't there, but she thinks she was. She's telling me about it. Yeah, so I was just thinking like maybe I could keep that saved up. Not to mention, I'm sure there's going to be a crap ton of decos I'm going to want. So then if I don't spend it all on the Stronghold unlocking, I'll still be able to buy decos and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Because
yeah.
if they come
Go
out
into
with
this with a
anything
lot of
even
credits.
Yes, if they come even remotely close to getting something as cool as the Umbaran train decoration, where it's the tree and then the little mini train around the bottom of it, I would totally be dropping credits on that hardcore. So, I mean, so even if I don't spend it all in unlocking, I assume I'm going to buy more things that I don't need, that I'm
Right.
going to spend time to grind to get. So, yes, I will be experiencing it. I will also be experiencing the PvP, because I might have mentioned a time or 10 on this show that I love PvP. So I will be doing that. I'm into the cross faction mostly. So we'll see. I mean, the Imperial in me loves to be like, yeah, suck it, pubs. Woo, the pubs suck. And now the pubs are going to be on my team, and I'm going to be like,
I
stupid
can't
pub.
trash talk
You
anymore.
let
Dang
them
it.
cap, dirty pub.
You're doing it in /say so they can hear you talking.
Yeah,
Now you can just do
so-
it in ops chat. Just trash talk your team, I suppose.
No, I'm not that
Hashtag
person.
proud rebel scum.
Yes, we are
So-
pretty diverse here on the council, just so that everybody knows.
Well, I think it'll be really nice too, because we have, especially like in Unholy Alliance, I know we have a few PvPers who are like, they're more comfortable on their pub. Thinking specifically like Neff, I think he likes to play a scoundrel on pub and
Right.
PvP better. So it'll be nice to be able to like people bring what they're comfortable with, not what they have to use, because
Yeah.
the majority of the people are comfortable on one faction and not the other. I really think that will really be helpful for PvP in general.
Now, this precludes grouping, though. You can't group with people across
That
faction.
sucks.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can't, like, put a team together. And then go in together, like, with the
Didn't we like
cross-faction group.
cheat that or something? Like people like tried to like jump in at the same time. They just happened to be in the same.
Yeah, everybody queues together, but that really is the luck of the draw. I think, as to whether that works or not. We'll just see. I believe.
That stinks. They need to make that happen.
Yes. Question in chat: can you unlock some of these guild stronghold rooms, or the stronghold rooms, with cartel coins? I have. I explored myself and saw that you could. On the tests PTS, and I think you can do it with every. You can decide whether you want to
No,
spend
but
cash
for
or
the guild,
cartel coin.
right? For the guild, not your personal stronghold.
I don't know. Maybe the guild master can, in which case it's free to everyone else. So at least better cough up some cartel coins for Unholy Alliance is what that means.
I like that out loud laughing. She's like, "You're cute when you lie like that, Sakari."
Yeah, I'm
not the
I'm trying to get some
money bag.
freebies
There
for
are
us,
other
okay?
People in our guild that are like money bags.
Mr. Three
cartels.
Commas, we're talking
Being
about
that
you.
There are also some people in our guild in this like chat right now that are influencers.
What?
that Get like
Hold on a moment.
get like cartel coin pack
Yeah, well, yeah. I should.
Oh,
I would really
use
like to
that.
use some of
Use
my.
your refer a friend code. Get a few thousand a month like me.
I would like, or I would really like to
Yeah,
use some
not
of
like
my
he ever hooks us
influencer
up.
privilege.
All my people that I referred to the game moved on. So,
Yeah, we need to find some new
Aw.
ones. Absolutely. Okay, so okay, so yes, let me answer this real quick. 5.9.2. I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna be streaming basically everything I can do with this. So I'm really looking forward to 5.9.2 dropping. I already have plans of some things I'm gonna do with the Stronghold. I've been preparing, believe it or not. Over the last week and a half, I'm going to jump in on the PvP. The only downside is something that they announced is that the tank changes are still too buggy for them to deploy. So we're not going to get the... You know how they made it so that the tanks now also mitigate crits as well as just like the regular things. They've decided to wait on that. So like tanks are still not as viable as I would like for them to be, but we'll be okay. That was the one thing I'm kind of bummed about. But it looks like everything else is shaping up. I'm excited. So,
And there will be naysayers that'll say something like, well, for one thing they fixed, they picked 10. Well, you're not fixing it, so what are you crying about? Just
Well,
give them a chance to fix it.
Or welcome to an MMO. If you don't like it, don't play any of them.
right. Yes. All right. So we are going to. I guess we're good. Let's get into the deliberation segment. For this, we're going to do our AMA, our Ask Me Anything. We have some questions on hand here, but actually, what we want to do is make sure that we're answering the questions that chat sends us. And what we'll do is we'll go through the ones in our show notes until we see something, and then we'll anybody who asks in chat will definitely jump on your questions. So feel free to ask questions, pop them in there. We'll try to get to everything that we can. For now, is it okay, guys, if I pick the first question of what we have? I have a question about real life.
No objections.
All right, no objections. That sounds good because that means that's 50% of the vote. Sorry. All right, okay. So if you could have a lightsaber in real life, what style would it be, and what would the color of the crystal be? Woo!
so wait a minute. Before people, are we going like Knights of the Old Republic, like definitions of the crystal colors? Because remember,
You can
that's
pick.
the sum total of my lore knowledge.
Do you want to be? Do you want to go there?
Either
That's fine.
movie or KOTOR.
That's
it.
fine. I mean, Redmond knows a lot more about the lore than, I mean, more recent lore than any one of us. I imagine he's got reasons for things that are pretty cool that, well, I'll be learning. So let's do it.
Recent lore? Yes, because I don't call that lore. I call that crap.
Yeah, I call it canon. And then
Yes.
there's that whole fantasy wannabe world that Magic follows. So
Magic
It's
Ace.
not a wannabe world. It's my childhood. Thank you.
My child.
yeah, exactly. And your childhood is dead.
Hashtag
Just
EU.
FYI.
So is yours, old man. Move on.
It's in the past. You can't recapture it. Moving on.
It
All
is
right.
Sicaria.
So, Magic, what color, what style of lightsaber would you have and what color?
Well, in KOTOR, I always picked like KOTOR 2. Whenever you would talk about what your lightsaber was, whenever Atten Rand was pushing you and fishing for info, I was always like, it was double bladed and silver, like the fountains in blah 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 room. And he was like, ooh, really? I would have picked something different. But I mean, since KOTOR had limited options and we're talking like Star Wars, I would probably do one of the hilts that have like a secondary crystal in it that's not the actual crystal that shoots out the light, but it's like an ornate kind of crystal.
Okay.
In fact, one of my sorks has this one. It kind of has spikes on the side, spike on the bottom, and in the hilt there's a crystal, but a different crystal shoots out the top. So
Okay.
I'd want that one so that I could bash someone in the face without even turning it on. Yes. You know,
I
close
smell him
quarters
some
combat.
Sith in this. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So, and then the crystal, this is a bummer for me because I have two favorites, but I guess my top favorite is the one you get from the Rackle event, where it's the black core and the lime green outside. Like,
Right.
I just realized that was not appropriate gesture. I apologize. but
We are a visual medium, of course.
my bad. I'm just trying to.
Our podcast
Yeah,
people
it was a
are
shotgun
losing out right now.
gesture. She's pumping her shotgun. I mean, that's totally inappropriate in this horrified world we live nowadays. I'm deflecting.
Anyways, the I'm gonna watch my words here. The beam is lime green and black. I think that's probably the one I'd ultimately go with, but I have to say the black and red is also really great. It's also my favorite.
Okay. Redna, what about you? What style of hilt? What color? Crystal.
I don't know what the style of hilt is meant to be because honestly, like a hilt is a hilt is a hilt is a hilt. But I would definitely go with this style lightsaber, and it would absolutely need to be green.
He's
So we're
got
going
it.
with the chopstick lightsaber, and it's always green. Everything always.
And it's got to be the same size as the
Yeah,
chopstick.
probably get two. You know, just so that you can work with it.
He's got him there with him. That's hilarious. I love that our chat is answering this question as well. That's really epic.
Yes, we've got a lot of curved hilts that people want. So I guess that's a thing. They want to be Count Dooku.
Yeah. Or Bane.
Sorry,
Bane did
Chad,
the
I
Well, I
really
was about to say, well,
disliked
Bane.
that one.
Bane did the curved hilt as well. Yeah. And that's really the reason you want to do it. Elise, what about you? Have you ever thought about this?
Bastila Shan.
Okay, so the dual blade. Okay.
Yep. And the yellow crystal was like what? Like the
Sentinel, right? Wasn't
Sentinel,
it? Yeah.
I think, right?
Yes, it was
It was the in
KOTOR,
between.
it was green for consular, blue for knight or whatever, and the yellow was always sentinel, saying that they were more balanced of the two.
Right.
And I'm doing green for Return of the Jedi. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And purple
that
was
green.
for non-alignment.
That green with
Really,
Luke's
I
black
really
was.
wanted the purple
a good
one,
look.
but the purple one came on a lot later after I played KOTOR. But really, honestly, Bastila Shan, I have never played any other way but that. So,
Bastila Shan, yes. And so why the yellow? Elise, is that more because of Bastila or like what is your so it was a shocking question. She was not expecting to have to answer that question.
wow. Inhaled and went to go talk at the same time. Bad combo. Anyway, I liked the balance, like the Peacemaker, the Negotiator, right? I think that's what that one was. So
Okay.
I liked
Yes.
what the color meant, not necessarily the color.
Okay,
itself.
so you like the role that was associated with the color. I see. Yeah, that's actually very deep. It's not even so much about the color, so much as about what the color represents, which I think is
Right.
great. Yeah, really cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I am probably going to punt on this and say I'd like to do the dual lightsaber combo. I guess that makes
How was that punting? That's what I picked.
Well, no. So no, you said the dual bladed lightsaber. I'm talking about two lightsabers.
Yeah.
So that's it's kind of like the
Dual
easy way out.
wield as a
Dual
blade,
wielding,
as opposed
yes.
to dual,
I
double
missed
bladed.
the.
Thank you,
dual-
Redna. He like
the dual,
articulated
not
much
the
better
dual.
than I did. So yeah, I'd probably do that. And okay. So I really should admit this because this is really going to get me into trouble with my friends. But I would probably do a green and blue combo.
You disgust me.
Isn't
No
that
kidding.
what Ahsoka did? Clone Wars?
There's just something about that green and the blue combo that to me is okay. So I will say this
Well,
with regard to
Anakin Skywalker for his fight against Dooku
Yes.
had one blue and one green because
And it was
Obi-Wan threw
gorgeous.
him his after he was
Yeah,
injured.
because in every movie he lost a lightsaber, and throughout all of
Yeah.
the Clone Wars, even though there was a whole episode dedicated to your lightsaber is your life, man, he lost more lightsabers than any fool I ever met.
Well, that's the first thing he says is Obi-Wan's gonna kill me.
Yeah,
like
it's-
I've done this again.
it's repeated. No. For me, I was always like that. I think that was the moment that did it for me. That very fight was that blue and green combo. But I mean, if in all honesty, if I was to be going through the events of KOTOR, I'd probably get a green crystal. I've always been more of a caster, always been more of a force user, just by personality. So
I don't like conforming those, so I want the crystals that are not aligned.
yeah, well, that's fine. Yeah,
You guys are all
and
talking about me and
I'm a
stuff,
color.
Like, I will not conform.
I am a color crystal purist, though. Not one of my characters has anything. I think purple is about as far out as I go. I don't do yellow. I only do red, green, blue, or purple.
Purple is a color that was forced upon us against the wishes of anybody that wanted to have anything to do with Star Wars other than Samuel L. Jackson.
And because he's Samuel L.
because
Jackson, we're gonna let him do
Samuel
it.
L.
I don't
Jackson
want to be in your movie without my color.
Yes, but
I'm
he is
fine with it.
awesome. Like he's
Well,
awesome.
Jolie
That's hilarious.
Lindo
Really?
had a
I
purple
thought his
lightsaber,
character was
didn't he?
actually pretty weak as well. But
I
Maybe
loved
Henry.
him. I love his character. Every time he comes in, my husband and I start laughing and cheering.
Okay.
He was my son's favorite.
he was worth some good laughs. I'll grant you that.
All right, so
I have trouble with Samuel L. Jackson. I actually really like the actor, but he doesn't really play multiple roles. He just brings it into different environments.
right, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like Bruce Willis. If you do it with Bruce Willis, you get Bruce Willis no matter what movie. It's the same kind of thing.
I know. Bruce Willis and the Kid. It was such a laid-back movie, but he's still Bruce Willis.
Yeah. All right, so we do have a question in chat. Brutal.
To your point, Sakari, I would actually agree with you. If I were a dual wielder, I would want green and blue as well.
Yeah. Green would be my color. Like that would be the color. But I think the blue offhand, I think is great. A question here. I haven't played SWTOR War since release, and I'm interested in playing again. What class would you say would be user friendly for the current PvP meta?
Sork.
Really, Sork? That's what
Sork.
you would pick.
God
Sork heals.
Not-
Sork
Not
heals.
not even heals. No.
Merc,
Just. Well, yeah,
Deeps.
Merc. Probably Merc. Yeah. Okay.
Commando.
I would say
Which one was
Arsenal
better?
Merc would probably be the easiest to start.
Wow, we're all over the place. Actually, so they make it.
No,
they
I agree with that.
they do work to try to make everything viable. They really do.
Yeah, but if you've not
they
played in a
don't.
long time
In
and you
5
jump on a
years, they haven't made
Marauder,
a single attempt to make a sniper or a gunslinger remotely viable in PvP. So don't even try to pull that.
A gunslinger.
engineering snipers are actually viable, especially if they are guarding.
In very select, objective-based PvP.
I was gonna say, like, if you've got a
Crowd
sniper and they're
control.
not guarding, they're pretty much useless. You're wasting a spot.
Yeah. So there you go. We're all over the place, I know. But yeah, I would probably say about like a mercenary.
Or Commando.
DPS and
Hammer
Mercs is
shot
very
when you
good.
first start
Their defensive cooldowns is
is
amazing.
really good.
Yeah.
So you just like hit hammer shot like over and over and over again, and that's pub side. I don't know what it is on the-
Shadows and Assassins are also a lot of fun to play in PvP. They may not always be OP, though.
If you
often they
spec them
are.
right, though, it's
Yeah.
your utility points is really what matters there because that gives you all the ability to function.
I die a lot though, but then I'm not God's gift to PvP. But I
That's
kill
fair.
more things on my assassin, but I die a lot too. So
Right.
okay.
I'm not seeing any other questions in chat for now. Elise, would you like to pick the next question?
Well, they said if they released a new DLC, what would you like to see?
Oh, really? Did I miss that? If they release a new DL, oh my goodness, that's
Yeah.
a terrible question.
I
Okay.
answered it. I answered it.
All right, so okay, help me then because apparently I'm like behind now in the conversation.
Okay, so if they released a new DLC, what is it you would like to see? Well, if they release a new kind of DLC, I'm kind of to the point where, like, I almost kind of want it to be over because I'm so addicted to this game that I feel like I'm going to be here forever until it actually does die. So my thing was be like, they actually show the rise of Bane, like even through cutscenes or whatever, like small cutscenes, like make it a 5-minute cutscene or whatever, and then like he finds Xana, they destroy the Sith, and then you see like glimpses of the lineage of Sith that keeps going till you get to Palpatine, and then the server shut down, and I can quit paying money to this game because I'm gonna stay here
Yeah.
forever.
So,
I
so
keep
the
thinking
final
about it, no.
operations,
I'm here forever.
the final operations conflict shouldn't even be a single boss. It should be a massive confrontation where you're fighting against a group of opposing faction that ends with, even if you win, it ends in a cutscene with the thought bomb,
Yes.
and then some
That's-
flash forwards. is what
blows
you're
everyone out of the water. Yeah. Very
Yes.
cool. All right. So was that
And
your
it would be
answer?
Original
Red,
canon.
were you building on it?
Oh no, I'm just building off of her. idea.
Okay. All right. You are
If I want
unpacking
another
it.
expansion, what do I want to see? I mean, like, I'm gonna go cheesy, completely uninteresting. I'd like to see at least one complete operation. I would like to see some new maps in existing styles for some of the like I'd like to see a second Novair Coast style map and a second Ancient Hypergate style map. I don't want to see new maps. I'd like to see new styles of the maps. We've got multiple Hutballs and we've got multiple Alderaan style Civil War maps. So I'd like to see some of that. I'd like to see a new GSF ship released finally. It's
Okay.
been years. I'd like to see base class story with all of my original companions, except those that I have personally chosen to kill off from my original base class. And I would like to see an option to kill every single one of the companions that have been foisted upon me since the introduction of coffee. Even the return of my previous ones, because like as a gunslinger fanboy, I totally want to kill Gus. I'm ready to do it.
From previous episodes, you've answered that you really don't like Arkin because he's like a mass murderer. I'm stirring the pot.
Even if Hitler
You wanna be
survived,
one.
you shouldn't be able to go and have sex with him. I think that's completely inappropriate.
Okay, so
Yeah, it's like,
so after you
hey,
kill all your companions, I
mass
guess.
So
murder.
even I do
About
believe in
me,
in forgiveness, but I also believe in paying for your sins. So
Okay.
Yeah, like,
that-
you didn't go to
Sorry, I
prison
didn't mean to
and
derail you there.
Arkin is not a
He becomes
character
your
that should
comp-
be in the game for any. He should either be, sequestered off somewhere for having, tried to commit genocide on multiple planets,
Having
or
successfully
should
committed.
be dead,
Yeah.
as is the case in my storyline,
Okay.
the one that I took through. So
All right. So is that everything that you wanted to say to that question? We have another question in chat. I don't want to miss it.
an expansion should be a genuine expansion in the traditional sense. It should touch on all aspects of the game and give us something for it. That's what I
What
would
do you
like.
want,
Sure.
Elise? More
Absolutely.
decos?
Well, I mean, more decos are always better. I would like them to actually make it so you could craft more. I would like more like recipes or whatever for crafting decos. The ones we have are really old.
Right.
I want a real live, honest to goodness story. I've said multiple times I liked Shadow of Revan expansion.
Mhm.
I was fine with that one. If they can't do a completely unique base class one, that was a nice compromise where you had at least a class like mission line or whatever. Perfectly fine. I would love to see that. I enjoy the kind of cross faction thing.
Absolutely.
So I would be fine with that. What was missing for me in the last two expansions was it was pseudo cross faction, and it just wasn't.
Right.
It was like a single player in an MMO, and I can't say I'm overly fond of single player attempts in MMOs.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to be super quick with mine, and we probably need to be super quick with the next couple, 3 questions here because we're going to get behind in chat. But I'm with Elise on this. I want some story. That is what I am itching for right now, and I can't wait for it in this new 6.0. It's going to be great, especially getting back to the Empire versus... I'd like to find out how things happen on the political stage. Who takes charge? What's the pecking order going to be in the Empire? That's really what I am most interested in right now. All right, let's do this super quick. Single answer, okay? Oso Grizz asks, In-N-Out or Steak and Shake?
Oh,
All right, so let's start with
Yay!
Elise. In-N-Out or Steak and Shake?
I don't even
Actually,
understand
it
what the
was
question
In-N-Out
is.
or Shake Shack.
Shake Shack. Okay, Shake
oh,
Shack.
you mean which one do I like? I don't know either one of them. I don't have either one of those in
Me either.
One is
Ohio.
Californian.
Yeah, that's like a very
but-
West Coast thing, isn't it? for both
However,
of us?
I always wanted to try In-N-Out. I was supposed to try it when I was in California just recently for Pucks,
Okay.
and I never made it.
Oh.
So
Hate
I
it when
like
that happens.
ice cream, so probably I would go with the Shake Shack because I like ice cream more than burgers. But
Okay.
there you go.
Okay.
Sorry.
Redna, what about you?
Dick's, all the way. That's a Northwest reference. Shout out, and that's
All
not inappropriate.
right. Fair enough.
It is
It's
actually
a
the name
sporting
of a
goods
burger
store here.
joint. If I had to pick, my wife will kill me, but I'd actually probably go Shake Shack too. I know she's
Really?
100% in and out.
Yeah, no kidding. Magic, what about you? Is there...
I don't know either of them, but if I'm gonna go for a shake, honestly, I always go to Sonic's. Like,
yeah.
I like it there.
Sonic is good here in this area too.
Yeah, that's
Or
pretty much
their
it.
their what is it? Their smoothies, right? Their real fruit smoothies are awesome.
Yeah. I would do out of those two In-N-Out. But you have to know In-N-Out's secret menu. Not everything In-N-Out makes is on the board. You can go there and ask for all kinds of customized stuff, and they know what you're talking about. So that's the secret I learned with In-N-Out. So, okay, so next question. Starry Saber asks, if they added a new class of SWTOR, what would you like the class to be? I know that's a little harder question. I think we've answered this one before, or we've explored this topic in a previous episode.
Yes, because I said
I'll just
I wanted
ask
to
us
basically
all
be like
generally
Death Knight.
what Can anybody
I
come up with
probably
an
have a
answer to
different
this?
answer today, so I'll go ahead and lead with it. I actually
Okay.
would like a genuine companion class where you can actually keep them out for PvP or PvE engagements.
Really?
Have it
Interesting.
designed the way that I
You
had
mean like a
actually
pet
envisioned.
class? Is that what you mean, like a pet class?
Yes, like a say a necromancer, right? Except that obviously you can't do that with, well, probably actually you could.
Or like a
Night
ranger?
Sisters. That's what I want. I want a Night Sister class.
All right, that'd be pretty wicked sweet. And they're
Right?
Night
most of the
Sister
time
class
no
would
dark side.
be
Because they're
the
the mystics.
bomb.
They're the Force mystics. That was who Palpatine had to go to Mother Talzin in order to learn, because he knew all the secrets of the Sith and she knew all the secrets of the dark alchemy. And then afterwards, she was the only threat that he perceived against himself. He wasn't afraid of Yoda or the others. It was Mother Talzin that was his biggest concern. Just
How
FYI.
awesome is this answer?
The only Dark Horse canon that carried over from the legacy material. Read it. It's great.
Yes, absolutely.
Anything with the Night Sisters is
That was
great.
my favorite booth, by the way. Just to a shout out for Comic-Con. It's the Dark Horse.
Really, Dark Horse, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna defer to you guys. That sounds good. Night Sister sounds phenomenal to me. Let's do it.
I would like a pet class. I'll just jump in and do this really quick
Pet
since
class.
everybody else. Yes.
Okay.
So, like in WoW, there's a class where your DPS comes mostly from your pets, and you tell
Oh,
your
like a
pets to do
creature
stuff.
handler in Star Wars
Yeah,
Galaxies.
right,
Gotcha.
yes.
Gotcha.
So you actually take them into raids and PvP and whatnot.
And you
Some of
command
your
it.
abilities are actually based off of your pet.
Yeah.
And you can
Right.
actually control the positioning and everything of that pet.
Yeah, like a droid engineer for somebody on one of the, like something like that. There's ways that they could do that.
Yeah, that would be a good
Mass
Star Wars-
Effect had a one. You had a drone. It was the engineer class, and you had drones and stuff.
And that's my favorite.
And there's a lot of
WoW
different ways
likes
you could
this
take
hunter,
that.
So
style drone like the sister in Star Wars Rebels. So
Really
Yeah.
cool. I like
The
this
other
idea.
one that I would like to see is something that kind of like uses like enemy characters, but I don't know how you would do that in PvP, but something that's like a mind control something would be cool. But
I mean,
I
I
don't
like
know how
how
canon that would be, but you know.
I'll just say that when I'm at the only time I like the companion Theron Cedrax is when he uses Holiday to put someone in a trance and they're all like staring at the hologram and he's off
Yeah.
killing people.
Yeah, very
That's
much
fun.
like that. That
Yeah.
would be pretty cool. So
Yeah.
I think that would be a little
So
different.
for mine, I'll answer it really quickly. Basically, I would like to see kind of like a Death Knight type thing from WoW. If you don't know what that is, like you start off at a higher level. You don't have to grind all the way from level one, all the way up to the highest one. You just start off at a older or higher level.
I think
I'm
anything they
tired.
introduce should start Coffee and Beyond. I agree with you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's what I want. I want to get past it. I'm tired of grinding through that stuff, and I'm an addict for the companion, so I just keep going back, and it's torture. So I want something past that. And another question in chat was like, what about playable race? This was actually, I was going to anyways go ahead and say
Cyber
this.
K-Tan.
I would want a Voss character. I would want a Death Knight type
Voss.
one. Yeah, Voss. I want Voss.
Okay.
I want to be a Voss. And I want to play a Voss. I want to fight and go through stuff, and it be the after effects of what happened in the Knights series. Like I want
After
it to
their
be
place gets
after.
wrecked. Yeah.
Right. So now you're kind of like slowly meandering back to Sith versus Pub, and I want to see what the galaxy is like after that. So as far as class, I would want it to be all three, like the ability to be all three. You wouldn't have to choose when you start your character. It would just be like you can swap for a fee or whatever. Like even if you're a sub, like to swap all the way from like tank to heals or something like that, that you would pay something and you'd be able to swap through all three. That's what I want.
Right. Elise, what about playable races for you?
What's the other one with the tentacles? The Natolin or not?
Nautilin.
Nautilin.
Not
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like one
Kit
of those.
Fisto.
Those would be pretty cool. Yes.
That was kind of my answer, so I'll have to pick
My-
Aquilish.
There you go. Yeah,
I
the
think I
other
have
side.
Kit Fisto in here somewhere. My husband collects all those like pop figures of the you know,
Yeah,
kind of
the
more
figurines, yeah, yeah.
ancillary like characters.
Jawa. Somebody says in chat. Osa says Jawa.
We have
Yeah,
Admiral
Might as well.
Akbar and
That would be
stuff.
interesting.
What?
Sniper says Authorian. We've got a few pretty
I would
smart.
like a Rhodian, personally. We've seen it multiple times in multiple locations that
And
they
then you-
can speak basic. So I'd like to actually be able to play it. I know, and they could do the same thing that they did with the freaking Togruta. Fine, they can't wear hats. I'm totally down.
I'm going to change mine. I want to be a hut.
Yeah, I
Please,
thought about
no.
that. too, honestly.
Looking.
I don't.
I want to be a. I
I
want to be a.
I can't even imagine.
No.
I want to
having
be
a fighting hut. That would
That's
be
what I was about to
like.
say.
Dual
You have
wielding
to
hut.
You go to hut ball. You wiggle over the things. You're like,
force
don't
leap
set
would
on
be
fire. Don't
epic.
set on fire.
Oh my goodness. All
Oh,
right.
Dever-
Can't even
It's another
imagine.
great one, actually. Chat room's in there.
All right.
Deveronian is that devil-looking one, the red.
Deveronian. Yeah.
Like
What's his name?
What's his name?
Suddenly we're all blank.
Like the
What's
one
his
for the
face
bounty
from the
hunter
kid?
that means that you can never actually. fulfill your
Tiresias.
contract.
What's his name? He's like he's goodness. I can think of his
I don't
old name, but not his new one.
Pain in the
All I
ass.
can think
bro.
of is Gar from SNV, the guy who
Yeah, I was
pulls
about
you
to
in and
say-
blasts your
He's-
face.
Galt.
Imperial
Thank you,
version
Starry
of Gus,
Saber. I knew
that's
somebody
what-
was. Galt. Someone's gonna. I knew somebody in chat would
Yeah.
save us.
I knew it was a G. I just couldn't like get it out there.
Galt
I keep
Renault.
saying
Just-
Gus.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? Tiresias Loci Libro has. That's the.
Yeah, so I answered the question, but you guys didn't. What about playable? Reda, did you say the playable race? I heard the other two.
I said
Okay.
Brilliant.
Oh, we didn't answer. Okay.
Oh,
I didn't.
I didn't
said
hear.
hut.
Oh, playable races.
Yeah, I heard him
see.
say hut, and she said Nachavon, but I didn't hear Reda. Okay, never mind. Sorry, my bad.
Yes.
I totally want Rodian, like Greedo,
Brody.
and I'm gonna shoot second. I'm just gonna go out and die a lot.
Shoot second. You better be dead on the first one, because I'm gonna be dead on the second one. Ardros is Kaldor. That's a great answer to that. That is Plo Koon's, right?
Yes.
Kaldor.
Yes.
Very cool. Very good answer. All right, let us take another look. Does anyone from the council want to pick another one of our questions from the notes?
Yeah. It said, "What other games are you guys playing right now?" I can keep it very short and sweet and to the point, so I'll answer that. I will always play the Mass Effect games, all of them. I just started my 4th run through of Andromeda.
Okay.
So I play that, and I am heavily into Overwatch right now. I am a Mercy main, but I'm really getting a hold of Moira and loving it. I got gold in eliminations the other day, 19 eliminations on Moira while I was healing, and I still got silver heals, so I was pretty stoked about that.
Right.
And I am a little bit playing like WoW here and there, trying to figure out my DPS as a hunter, because having 2 pets and a flock of crows to attack your enemies is very, very nice. It's very satisfying. I'm very into it. So that's the only other really games I'm playing. I mean, I always play Halo on my Xbox, but that's about it.
Hearthstone, Rocket League, Heroes of the Storm.
Wow.
That's funny.
Come on, Elise.
Um,
Elise is
I
gonna be a
have-
list.
Oh
New,
my god, I have like a whole stable. Like, oh, I can't wait for Tomb Raider either. I'm gonna give that a shout out.
Really?
And that was super fun to play with all the snakes, but that's another
Okay.
discussion. Anyway, so I've been playing way too much Warframe. I do play Overwatch 2. Just I've taken a
There's
little
a
hiatus.
second one now?
What?
No, she means as well.
As
Oh.
well.
Okay, I was gonna say, holy crap,
I
they've already
am-
gotten Overwatch 2.
76 and Zenyatta. Those are my 2 most common ones. Because they were both kind of shooty, sort of.
Right.
Yeah, except for the Buddha aspect for Zenyatta.
Yes. I mean, you get to heal, shoot and heal, but I really like
That's why I like
Yes.
Moira.
like this every once in a while. Anyway.
Tranquility or something.
Yes. Gosh, I'm playing ESO. I'm playing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Excellent game. Old game. Excellent game. If you like classic RPGs with a bunch of story.
Hmm.
I have to do another Dragon Age Inquisition playthrough as a dude. I have not done that yet, but it's on my to-do list.
Or your
Um,
to-do list.
I have that.
Sorry,
game
bad joke.
on my list.
Okay.
I caught
Yes.
that. I have it
I
on my list. I haven't played it yet.
I can't wait for Tomb Raider this fall and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I am super stoked for that game. I think it's going to
Right.
be really good. Oh, and I've been playing The Division with JT and Kidley while
Cool.
Walk has been on hiatus.
Right.
So,
Yeah. It's about to come back though. We're about to start the fall thing, so maybe that'll cramp the style. Who knows? I have been playing When I've not been doing SWOT or Subnautica, which I've spoken about, I think, ad nauseum. I don't really want to go into that too much. I've streamed the whole stinking journey. That's a phenomenal game. I love the exploration aspect of that. I have been missing exploration, and I'm realizing very quickly flashpoints aren't doing it for me. I want a world that I can just go get lost in. I want some caves to go explore. So that's one. Another game that I play, and it's not the one that I want to advertise too much, because everyone's going to be like, why on earth would you spend your time doing that? But it's Anno 2205, which is a lot kind of like SimCity, but you're having to manage a gigantic economy. It works for my brain, my play styles.
I was gonna say, you said you liked that market stuff, so
Oh yeah, I
that's
forgot.
Yeah.
Clash of Clans and Clash Royale. I always play those. Okay, those are fun games though, FYI.
Okay, so now
Oh, Star
Pokemon.
Wars Galaxy of Heroes then. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Galaxy. Yeah, well, if you're talking about mobile, definitely. Let's see here. Pokemon asked, I guess 109 iffy. I don't know if I'm killing that.
Oh
or
yeah.
whatever.
What do you think of an expansion where you can fall as a Sith and come back as a Dark Jedi or vice versa?
that would be interesting.
Or come
I've
back as a
always
regular
wanted to be able to
Jedi.
faction swap, or yeah, regular Jedi.
And then your order turns against you. You basically betray your. So now they did experiment a little bit with that in the Trooper storyline. In the core story on the Trooper, I'm not spoiling it for anyone, so I guess I can go into this. But like, you realize that all of Havoc Squad converts to the Empire, and so you have a little bit of that. I mean, there's a faction swap that
Yeah,
happens there, but it's not you.
First
The very
of the
beginning.
game.
Yeah, but you spend the rest of the journey tracking him down, finding him, trying to bring him to Jesus. So, yeah, bring him to
Well,
the Force,
actually,
I guess.
And another reason why Pub Love is better than Dirty Imp is because the Jedi Counselor and Jedi Knight both, because they're constantly conversing with the Jedi Council and their masters as they progress through their stories. If you're constantly pulling dark side, your master will actually say, "I'm very concerned about this turn you're taking." Like, they actually acknowledge that you're going dark, and they get upset with you. And at the end of, well, super big spoiler, I suppose, is at the end of the Jedi Knight one. If you play full on dark, they refuse to give you.
Haven't played it yet.
They refuse to make you a Jedi Master because you're not.
You done yet?
It's great.
She's that is
I've not
My
played that,
headset
and
up,
I'm
I have
fine
not
with you
played it
telling
yet.
me.
one of my
Yeah,
favorite
I'm fine
moments in
with
the
you telling
council.
me on that
So
show.
I dig that. Like, I'm actually a bit irritated, and this is not a big spoiler, but the Jedi Consular story is all about the fact that you basically have to weaken yourself in order to save other individual lives along the path as you're gearing up to face a big bad, opponent. And for me, that's like so contrary. It's like, okay, so you're literally going to jeopardize the entire galaxy potentially because you can't look at the bigger picture, and the only light side choices are to constantly endanger and weaken yourself for these individuals that are willing to, even in many cases, basically die for the greater good. So you prevent anybody else from being able to be light and die for the greater good, and you jeopardize the entire galaxy. Whereas, as opposed to, I'm actually going to make, I think, arguably in many cases, the right choice, which is not jeopardize the galaxy and take the dark side choice. The consular story is I like the dark choices better. I feel like they make more sense as a light side. But hey, what?
Really, I've never actually done that specific setup, so I'm very intrigued about the idea. Maybe I should jump in there at some point. Now, during the lull, would have been the perfect time for this kind of a thing. I don't know why I didn't do it before. So, all right,
I did my second one as the dark side, but I didn't do it. I leveled through PvP. I didn't actually do the story, I don't think. It was for DBL. Anyway, go on.
Okay, Gnome Wicked in chat asks, have you guys played SWG, Star Wars Galaxies official, or the fan resurrected version? Or are you planning to?
That's you, Sakari.
Am I the only Galaxies player here? That out of the 4 of us? Really? My goodness.
I would love to. Somebody hook me up. I'll join in. I didn't get to. It's my greatest regret is that I never got to play the original.
Yeah. Okay. So I played Star Wars Galaxies. I joined. I want to say after CU came out. There was pre-CU and then CU. I forget what, something upgrade. I jumped into that and I played the fire out of that game and loved I loved the creature handler. I loved bounty hunting. It was great. And then what happened was they came out with what they call the NGE, the new game enhancements, I believe, where they boiled 20-something classes that you could mix and match and pair together, kind of almost like Guild Wars 1 style, to come up with your own version of stuff. Pared it down to like 6 cookie cutter classes. You had to earn Jedi in that game. It didn't just happen immediately. It was months of playing before you could unlock Jedi. And then you could just now roll it right from scratch. I played it a little bit after that, stuck to it a little bit, but I think one night I realized that my friends had been gone for weeks, and I was playing, but I was lonely, and I decided at that point not to play Galaxies again, and I resisted playing Galaxies until they turned the servers off. And after that, I was a Galaxies refugee, and that's actually what brought me to SWTOR, was looking for what I was hoping was another Galaxies. SWTOR was not another Galaxies. But it's the best thing I got, so here I am. So that's my answer to that. Is that fair?
You're just sad because people couldn't make money dancing on Fleet anymore.
I was a cantina rat. I used to spend all my time hanging out in the Mos Eisley cantina with the dancers. It was just, that's what I did. So
We know.
That's one of the best things. Like you rolled your character, and then you could build any class, go do it, go level up, and then when you wanted to drop it, you could drop it and go level up as something else. So everybody would roll one character, or 2 characters maybe at most, and that was just who you were. And then people got to know who you were. It was really cool. Like it was a lot better for the community that way, as opposed to everybody having 1,000 alts. So, do we have any other questions that have been asked in chat? By the way, thank you. I see that we are. There was a question asked earlier, like I think Brutal asked it. What resources are there out there for somebody who's looking to get back into the game? There's a lot. Be careful of the forums. Be careful of the Reddit, the SWTOR subreddit. There's some salty people out there. But I mean, hey.
Volk.
Yes, Volk is a
That's
fantastic.
the simple answer. He's got so much
Swotorista?
material.
Yes,
SWTORista does Academy.
and she's on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh,
Volk.
that's right. She's got Academy too.
Yeah.
So.
So SWTORista, you'll find her on YouTube. Volk, I think you'll find on YouTube as well, right? But if you go to Volk.com, he's got a website. Everything.
Yeah,
He does
he's
a
got
lot of
website,
articles.
blog posts. He's got
Right.
Twitch. He's got YouTube. He's and a lot of his material. The only reason he's kind of my go-to for anybody trying to get back in, just because he's got such an abundance. But he doesn't get bogged down in the weeds. He really does a good job of just constantly
Moving
pumping out
on.
material that's broad strokes, good, get back into it style.
Yeah, and
approach.
his blog posts are not like labored; they're just like short and to the point. I would throw Kid Lee in there as well. Kid Lee does some really good videos. YouTube as well.
Yeah. YouTube and Twitch, there are some good content creators that are really good. And a lot of times, too, if you can get into the chat rooms, the better streamers are going to be answering a lot of your questions. So
Yes. All right. So
I say that because I answer lots of
Mud
questions.
Mustard, which is like an epic name. Do all 4 of you stream SWTOR regularly? I think there's only one of us that doesn't.
Well, I would say that I don't for the past 2 months, but that's because, new baby, and I'm
Right.
about to start ramping back up.
Right.
But otherwise, Sakari, myself, and Magic Ace definitely do. And
I've been
Elise
slower
is
this
not
summer.
a streamer.
I
Yeah.
do stream, but I haven't been as regular lately because there was some drama going on in 2 of my 3 NIM groups, and I really didn't want to stream that. That doesn't seem
Yeah.
like
No,
streamable
yeah, agreed.
content. So
Or is it?
the problem
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, but I don't want that kind of people in my chat. Like you
Right.
have a community in your chat, and there's a specific kind of people I love having in, and there's a specific type of people that I'd rather just didn't show up. So I try to avoid the Jerry Springer type things in my channel. There's been a couple people who attempted and tried really hard to get that to happen in my channel, and this wonderful thing called timeout just kicks them out. I don't have to worry about it. It's great. So I just try to avoid it at all costs. But now that the drama's kind of settling down and I've made some decisions, I've actually decided that I'm only going to stream my NIM group, maybe one of my NIM groups, maybe once a week, and I'm actually just going to do my own content. So yes, I do stream, and I will have a posted schedule pretty soon on my own Twitch, which is Magic Ace.
Yes. So you can find those of us that do, like I'm twitch.tv/Sakari. Redner's R3DN4 here on. Go follow our channels. It'd be great to have you jump in when we are alive. Magic Ace, of course, Magic Ace. But turn on the notifications. That's really the easy way to get the notifications as to when we go live. I think I loosely follow a schedule, but I'm really terrible at it, and I'm trying to get better at that. And also, I mean, like I've been taking a break as well personally, like a lot this summer, and I'm just now kind of getting into it. I think 5.9.2 is really gonna launch me into playing SWTOR like anew. So looking forward to that.
I write, I don't stream. So I have a blog and I have articles about various games, and I have another podcast. So.
What's your blog?
Why have you never plugged this with us?
She's mentioned it a couple of times. I just don't think she specified what it is.
Well, at least put it out there right now.
I don't really my one blog I'm restarting, so it's not really ready for prime time, but verification code required's blog. I do most of the posts on that.
Okay.
So but
you've got a podcast that comes out about quarterly for that VCR.
Correct. I touch on Star Wars: The Old Republic if there's something happening. Extra Life, I think I plugged it quite a bit, but we talk about all games. So it's right. If we have that much quantity, I can only talk about one specific game repetitively.
Whichever one is most captures your passion, I guess.
Correct. So my co-host on that is a WoW player and an Overwatch player, so that tends to come up more often, which is fine. I have this.
That's fine. In this game, we talk about other BioWare games often because it's BioWare, and we like that.
Starry Eye Saber is asking, is there anything you would like to see as a new mount?
Most of the animal mounts I am a huge fan of, and one of the ones I wanted the most was a Nexu, and I have 2 different types of Nexu, so I am fine with that. But like a mount that I'd actually get to ride,
I want that one from, what is it? Is it episode 2, the flying water mount thing that they roll around on the cloners planet, you know?
Oh, you mean Camino?
Yeah, Camino, that flying water mount thing. I totally want
Oh,
that.
yes, I got
Then
you.
they'd have to introduce flying, and this isn't
they're never going to do that.
Don't.
I've heard Charles
It
shoot
doesn't
that
need
one
to
down.
fly. It can hover over the ground.
Well, if we're gonna go
I'm fine
there,
with that.
I like the little ones, the flying taxi mounts. You know how you have like the speeder for the taxi thing, but on some of them you have the flying
They actually
stingray
look
thing.
like a taxi.
That thing would be cool, but see, I really don't care about mounts. I'm more into pets, not mounts.
Right.
So
So the
I have all the mounts that I
Thraxon?
need, and I don't need any new ones.
It's like a Thraxon or something on Alderaan is what they call it. The
Yeah.
ones that look like a manta. Yeah, I was going to answer this question with a flying mount. Now I don't care to fly really. But something that hovers off the ground would be great. Because right now everything in a sense is a flying mount, or at least all of the ones that use the repulsor lift technology.
Yeah, the majority are, except for the walking mounts.
Except the walking mounts. Those are the only ones that make contact with the ground. But if they can do that, why don't you have a creature mount that doesn't touch the ground, that just kind of flaps wings to I mean, because they're doing animations on mounts more and more. I think that's the next step. I would love for them to get there sooner rather than later.
I want a Varactyl to have an animation. I want it to be able to sit down, while you're mounted on it, it can just lay down. Because, I always wanted an Nexu. When they started the Varactyls, I got super, super stoked because it was what Obi-Wan rode when he was on Utapau or whatever it is. And I was like, before the movie was released and I read the novel, that's approximately what I had imagined. The author did a good job of describing it, and that's pretty much what I envisioned. So when the mounts were in SWTOR, I'm like, I have to have them all. I need them all now. And I have all of them except for the cyber one because I just don't think that that's a Varactyl, and I don't want that. So other things like a Varactyl is cool. Even the brakes from Makeb is pretty sweet.
Yeah, the brakes are
anything
like
those I'd be fine with.
All right, so here's a question for us all. If you could have a stronghold that we don't already have on a planet of your choice, where would it be? So you can't answer Manan anymore.
Belsavis or Voss.
Okay.
I have no answer then because that's the one I wanted.
So are
there
you
go.
completely
Take it
happy
over.
with your
Yes.
Manon stronghold? That's the
Yes,
one you
I'm
wanted.
not buying
Wow.
Rishi. I mean, Rishi looks nice and all, but I wanted Manon. I'm content.
I'm so glad that chat is jumping in with answers to these questions. That's great. I mean,
Korriban.
like the Korriban, we
Odessa.
got a Dessen, yeah, Oricon, Korriban, heck yeah.
Or Odessa would be interesting. It's green and cavey.
We got a Zakul,
Sakari.
Sortorian. Cavey.
Cavey.
Yeah, I like me some caves, yeah. I'm a
She likes to
caveman.
be cavey.
Is point nowhere or point no point? I want a class
Oh.
specific gunslinger one that you actually take control of this space station in
Yeah,
the
point
in
nowhere.
deep space. Point nowhere. I want that to be a stronghold that I can actually
Yeah.
access and design.
Okay,
But-
so
But like you shouldn't gain access to it unless you've played through the smuggler story class. In fact, it shouldn't be purchasable.
Or
It should
port
only be
nowhere.
unlockable by playing the gunslinger. And then you can get into it through cross legacy
cool is that?
once
Yeah.
you've done that. I think that would be really awesome.
yeah, that's a great
And then you
idea.
have to be smuggled because it's a smuggler's
Yes,
thing.
exactly. And then you can smuggle your Imperials onto your point
Yeah.
nowhere.
Exactly.
So throw the match in chat said the answer that I would answer to this, and that is an Imperial or a fleet stronghold. One that you can access from fleet. It's just like your apartment there, and they can make it nice and luxury, whatever. But how nice would it be to be able to just go up an elevator
that would
to
be
your
awesome.
stronghold and then do whatever you need to in your stronghold and then come back downstairs? I mean,
Yes.
you can have your friends on
great.
fleet show up. Just, I mean, like how cool would that be? I mean, compared to, I don't know what it is. Everything just seems so detached right now, even though you just have to warp to it. I mean, it's no big deal.
I would
I
like
would-
to
Closest
just be
thing
able
would
to
be
interact.
Nar Shaddaa. Nar Shaddaa, you have all those vendors on there. It's more than most of them, I think. But yeah, I agree.
And think
Personally,
about
I
it.
would just like to interact more with the things on my ship because I actually like being on my ship. Like especially when you're going through the storyline and you have to spend time on your ship.
Right.
It's like you get to sit in the captain's chair,
Pokemon's
but
right.
that's
I want
pretty
a
much
Mustafar.
it.
Mustafar.
So I would like to be able to use my ship more. I would like the bed to actually function as a bed. So like if I'm saying like, oh, I'm gonna go AFK for a minute. Oh, that's cool. I'll just put my tune on the bed so he can rest or she can rest. Like to me, that would be cool and worth their time because I feel like anybody going through a storyline would find that cool and a little more engaging rather than just like space bar through the cutscenes on your ship really quickly and get off the ship. That's my opinion.
From Cartel, who's a well-known streamer, by the way. Everyone who's new, go follow. Basically new and viewing us, go follow From Cartel as well. He's in chat right now. His channel, he streams quite a bit of SWTOR. Says personal cruiser stronghold that includes a travel terminal like on the Guild flagship.
Hey, actually, to that end, I wouldn't mind some new additional guild flagships. You know,
Hey.
we got
Oh, that
one
would be
that's pub.
so nice.
Yeah, right. Like give me
We'd have to
some-
go do.
some-
We'd have to go. Basically, start all over again, doing all of this conquest stuff to earn the encryptions to
a
unlock
good
every level.
incentive
Hey,
to actually
yeah,
push people towards conquests again.
Or
like a medical frigate.
Or what
Could have
they
your own
could
fleet.
do is some combination of that. Like you could trade in the one that you have that gets you so far to a new one, and then you just have to,
Yeah, yeah.
That's-
You could
that's
do
you
great
know,
idea,
work
yeah.
your way to the rest of the way or make up the difference or something. That would be a good compromise. I don't know that I want to completely. I mean, gosh, we haven't even unlocked our pub side one yet. That's a to do. I don't know that I'd want to have to like start all over again, but like being able to trade your one in or like
Right.
blow it up or redesign it would be cool.
You know what I think would be? This is a wild idea. I don't even know if this is a good idea or not. I'm just going to throw this out there and see what people think. But to put a guild stronghold at the end of a operation, so that you do the you kill Revan and then there's a doorway there that you can only enter it by finishing the operation. That's the only way that you can go hang out in it. So it's just kind of, hey, let's party when we're done. Just go hang out in your deal.
As long as
Yeah,
it's
but
not
then-
hard mode.
Nightmare,
Only thing
baby.
that I don't have.
But then you'd only get 5 to 10% of the people who play the game would be able to get to that.
That's
guild.
right. It's for elitists only.
Sakari's like, bring on the elitism, baby.
Yes.
Oh, by
that's...
the way, there was a question about who's our favorite bounty hunter. I just want to throw that out. I'm my favorite bounty hunter.
Oh, really?
Tasuka is. Thank you.
Redna, what about you? Favorite bounty hunter?
Is it? I think is it Ayla Centura? Is that her name? Who's the one that's got she's like got the really long fingers.
Oh, that's
She's
Aura
like,
Singh.
Aura Singh, yeah, that's it. That's
Yes.
it.
She's got
Yeah,
an
her
extra
toes.
phalange in all of her fingers. So that's why they're longer.
And they're extra long.
There's a
and
phalange,
she's got
right,
an antenna
Elise?
coming out her head. So she's like wicked cool. And she actually
Yeah.
plays a pretty good role in the Clone Wars television series too.
That's cool. Elise, do you know much about lore to be able to answer?
What?
What would you say is your favorite bounty hunter? I don't know how much that question appeals to you or not.
Boba Fett? I mean, I'm a traditionalist, so
Sure. I would say Bosk. And really because so there's a book, and Redna, maybe you can help me out here in the EU. There's a book where the only moment that all 4 of those bounty hunters have in common is standing on that bridge talking to Vader in Empire. And he says, no disintegrations this time. And from there, they all go on, and it's all of their respective stories. It's Bosk, it's IG-88,
Tales of the Bounty
Forlom.
Hunters.
Tales of the Bounty Hunters, that's the one. Okay. That book was fantastic. It's an old EU book, but it was just like, it was like every one of their stories, and like none of them had
There
anything
are
to do with
a
Han
few
Solo.
Books like that, compilations that like are super old, and this was actually pre-firm restoration of like the novel universe, like pre-Thrawn. And there was a Lando trilogy, there was a Han Solo trilogy, and they were tremendous. This was actually like the foundation of the EU in Britain. It wasn't so widespread in the United States, but they were really fun books, really interesting, and largely excluded from what has now been considered legends, just because they really did stand alone entirely, and nobody ever took the time to deeply tie them into the overarching storylines.
Right.
But yeah, those were they were a lot of fun. In fact, those are the kinds of books that nowadays from Legends could easily be read and considered actual canon, because they weren't impregnated with tying together with everything else. They actually were designed to stand alone anyway.
Right.
So there's no reason why they couldn't still be true.
We're going to make this quick. Anybody here read Legacy of the Force?
Yes.
Yes.
And quick thoughts, because we need to wrap up. What do you think about it? Quick thoughts. Is it even possible?
I can't give
Imagine-
you quick thoughts. Basically, I didn't hate it, and that's the quickest I can give you.
What's your favorite EU story? Another quick one.
Oh my gosh, that's so difficult. I guess it's the one where Jaina uses augmentation from Luke and takes down Darth Kaitis, which is also her brother Jason Solo. Okay.
Okay. I remember something about Intekmid. I can't even. It's been a long time
Ooh,
since
the
I've read those
sister
books.
movie. Yes.
Yeah.
Those are good. Those
Siruk.
the Bakura or something like that. Ooh,
Bane.
I know what you're talking-
Yeah.
Bane
Took place
trilogy.
immediately after Return of the Jedi with the
Yes.
lobster people.
Yeah.
That could suck the
Ark
force
got it
essence out
right.
of people to
They
empower
were more like
technology.
lizards. Thank you.
lobster
All right.
people.
Yes,
Is
they
it
were
anything
more
like crab
they were
people?
reptilian.
Is that along with the giant otter thing that Han Solo is fist fighting? I heard about that I've never actually read, but somebody put it in an article, and I was like, "Are you kidding? Really?"
Although the Killick
Right.
trilogy is really good too. The Joiner trilogy. It's
Yeah.
a good one.
Revan by
Yeah.
Drew Karpyshyn
I
was
can't
very
think
good.
which is my
Read.
favorite from the Legends material. That's so tough. I would, you know what? I'm actually
Yeah,
gonna
the
put
Revan
an
novel's great too.
unusual one out there. I'm gonna say I Jedi, because I hated it the first time I read it, and then every time I read it afterwards, I actually liked it more and more and more. And it was
Yeah.
the introduction of Corran Horn, and he actually is arguably one of my favorite characters from the Legends material.
He's fine. I hate Kent Hamner though.
I-
I like Cornhorn.
I forget the name of this book as well, who the author is, but also when they come up with Callista, was that her name? The one that they almost
Callista,
married
yes.
married Luke to. I was actually sad when they went their
Yes.
separate ways in the EU.
I wasn't. Well, they
Oh,
reunite, sort
Yeah.
of, kind of.
Well, and then
They
she
do.
ended up getting like body hopping, but stripped of being
Yeah,
able to use
and then
the-
end up with Wedge. No, it wasn't Wedge.
Yeah.
She ended up with somebody else. Like it was disappointing. But anyway, I got sucked into the
She ended
romance.
up not
Okay.
actually being, and she ended up not actually ending up with them because later, I don't know if I should spoil it for Sakari, but basically,
I
Luke
read
visits
it.
her again.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay,
Yeah, I read it all. It's just been a long time. All right,
Yeah,
guys.
she sacrificed herself to the guy that became a cyborg so that he could use the Force in order to directly interact with robots. That was a little bit of a stretch, but I did want to answer Legacy of the Force question. I
Okay.
actually hated the Legacy of the Force series. That was the series where they alternated authors every book across 3 authors. So it would be one author, then the second author, and the third author, back to the one author, second author, third author. And depending on the author, I loved it or hated it. And I think Karen Traviss, that was some of her best work. It was actually the 3 books that she wrote in that series were the least Force centered, but the most awesome, and they deeply entrenched the whole Boba Fett and Mandalorian lore material that was just amazeballs. So I really, really like that aspect
I
of
love
it.
her novels, The Commandos. The
And
Republic
I can't
Commandos.
remember, right? Yes, and I can't remember which of the other 2 authors I liked better that actually did a better job of the Force side. I felt like they didn't conclude it well because it was taking a Jedi. I'm not going to spoil things because it is well worth reading, but you take a Jedi and it's supposed to be a 9 novel series that shows the downfall of a Jedi for ostensibly good reasons and how he becomes truly dark and Sithful and has to go through the whole, the 9 steps
So
of
it's
becoming
basically
Sith.
the Breaking Bad of the Star Wars universe.
Right, exactly. I don't think they did it as well as Breaking Bad, though. Like, they didn't pull it off as
Sorry.
well because one of the 3
I got written on a new track now.
one of the 3 they just the author I didn't think did a good job of making that character dark well.
Right.
And the other did, but I think that third just really kind of ruined that whole culmination, in my opinion. Of course,
Right.
I'm deeply opinionated and often contrary to everyone else.
So, okay, we've got a lot more questions. Dax says, hey, talk PvP. We have had whole episodes on PvP. Feel free to look at our website. I think you can search on there. You want to find what we think about PvP.
Or podcasts. We've had 2 or 3 shows, I want to say, on PvP.
Yeah. So we have like some stuff. I'm pretty sure we'll circle back around to it because that's what we do. We just kind of revisit things and it's fun. We always learn something new. There's a lot to it. A lot more questions. Feel free to keep them coming. We may put out some extra content. Maybe do another episode that's AMA because this was actually a lot of fun. We had a lot of new followers, a lot of people joining us. This is probably one of the funnest episodes I can remember doing. I had a blast this episode. So
Reda
definitely.
and I might start our own podcast of just lore talk, and so Reda and I can just talk for hours.
As
So
if he
council
doesn't
can
already
vote
have a
with us.
lore podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
He
no.
does.
well,
You need a guest. You need to have Magic Ace
There you
on,
go.
maybe.
except that we are a canon podcast, and she doesn't.
And Auntie,
She is a
she's your.
Legends.
That's
podcast,
she's your-
is what
hashtag
she
not
wants.
my canon.
So what you're saying is that she's going to be a resident contrarian.
Oh.
Now, there is one Legends podcast out there. It was part of the Coffee with Kenobi crew, and they do a Legends podcast. They do 1 episode a month, 1 book a month.
Right.
But no, I would love to do something like that. I love it. I've literally read everything post Return of the Jedi in the novels, which is over 100 novels,
Right.
at least half a dozen times for every one of those novels.
That is
'cause
amazing.
I did the same thing with the Star Wars novels that I did with the Harry Potter novels. Every time a new one came out, I went back and reread
Read the whole
everything.
thing on the way there. Yeah.
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 And that got pretty interesting when you got deeper and deeper, especially once the Yu Bong series came along and it was like 14 novels or something. I stopped reading every book prior at that stage.
Right.
Stuck to series.
When
but-
you can quote
See,
it.
that should have
When you've
been
been there
That
before.
should have been a question. What house are you, Harry Potter?
Do
Anyway,
I would
it. Do
not
it. Do
know
it.
how
Real
to
quick.
answer that.
Answer.
I think Slytherin's the mean one, but I don't know.
Okay. So you're green
I'm
tonight. So there you go.
I am
Ravenclaw is smart.
Ravenclaw.
Hufflepuff is good guys, and Gryffindor is the slightly arrogant but aggressively
Yes.
militaristically on the right side.
So Elise Ravenclaw, Eredna.
I want to say Ravenclaw, so probably Hufflepuff.
That's epic. I'm Hufflepuff.
I
And Slytherin
I
for you. That
don't
how can Magic Ace
know.
be anything but Slytherin?
guess. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not a bully, but I am, I guess,
Oh my
evil.
goodness.
So, I mean, you can be evil without being a bully. It's possible.
Right. I am a Ravenclaw through and through. Absolutely. Me and
All
Elise are
right.
on the same side.
I'm gonna jump in. Announcements. Sakari.
Thank you.
Announcements.
We'll make it super quick because we're way over time here. 5.9.2 deploys tomorrow. Everybody get ready and jump in. It's going to be great. Start your engines, get everything downloaded early so that once it's You can jump in as soon as you can. Patch notes have been posted already, so if you really want to dig into the details, Eric put the patch notes up to date, so you can go find those on the website. You can go look in all of the stuff that they're going to do. I mean, there's a lot to it there. So that's the news, guys. Magic, over to you.
With the thank yous, although she might not be able to do it.
Magic Baby and I want to say thank you so much to everyone who participated in chat this evening for us. Thank you. It could be morning for you, but it's evening for us. We appreciate it. We thank you so much for the lurkers and for the first-time joiners and the new followers and the hosts that we got. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to everyone who sent in messages, who sent in questions. Thank you for the people who asked the questions, for the people who answered with us and did feedback. Thank you, thank
Agreed.
you, thank you. You are all appreciated. And Magic Baby says, hey.
And that brings us to the end of the episode. The council is adjourned. If you'd like to reach us, you can email us at thecouncil@thecouncilswotor.com. Like our Facebook page at facebook.com/thecouncilswotor. You can find Elise on Twitter at abrown35, Magic Ace at the Magic Ace, me at R3DN4, and Sakari at I am Sakari. Also, don't forget our Patreon page at patreon.com/thecouncilswotor, where patrons can catch the articles we're talking about behind the scenes and exclusive backstage access to our after show chat. That's it for this week, guys. I don't know you anymore. Magic Ace, you're breaking my heart. You're going down a path I can't follow.
Yes.
I understand.
You are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of master.
What? How can you do this? This is outrageous. It's unfair. How can you be on the council and not be a master?
Take a seat, young Skywalker.
Forgive me, Master.